The title of this video is How Karma Works. Karma is about repetition. Something that you do over and over and you feel stuck because you've done something so many times, you have to reap the consequences of that action. In essence, it's about programming. You've been programmed, just like the DNA inside your body, to do something. So this is why when you are born into a body, into a family, you absorb the karma of your entire family. And you have to live through that karma. You have to experience the consequences of your ancestors and their actions. So you have to deal with something that on the surface seems to have nothing to do with you. Program of a family, a behavior, whether it's people-pleasing, whether it's dominating, whether it's playing the victim, whether it's attracting emotionally unavailable men, whether it's being emotionally unavailable yourself. There's something that you have to do when you're born into a body. You have to because you are programmed. And you don't know that you are programmed until there are negative consequences to that program. And the negative consequences to that program are so severe that you can no longer tolerate it. When your tolerance to the karma is no more enough to keep it going, the karma ceases. It comes to an end. So the program is just about reward and punishment, pain or pleasure. How much pain are you willing to continue to keep up with? And are you recognizing your part in this pain? Because that's the part of the equation that many people fail at. You see, even though we have karma that has nothing to do with us, even though we are punished for that by the outside, and there's so many factors over which we have no control over that influence us, we do have some control. We can choose to end it. And this is why many times people become suicidal, because they want to put the karma of their ancestors to an end. Sometimes the karma that the person is born into is so severe that suicide is a very attractive option to that person. The body wants the karma to come to an end, even though it's the body's program that's responsible. Because the body recognizes its own disease, its own sickness. It wants it to come to an end. And when that desire inside your body to end it is strong enough, you can change. It's the desire for death that leads to life. The desire for destruction that leads to creation. And this is how karma is changed through the scorpionic blueprint, the Saturnian blueprint, Saturn, Pluto. A transformation through destruction of the self, the reconstruction of the identity. The identity that is founded on an environment which is only going to accept you if you play a facade, if you mimic, if you are in a shadow persona. And this shadow dance that your parents want you to play is inside your body. It's trying to repeat itself over and over. It's Pluto that brings balance to Saturn, balance to the program. So it is through vulnerability. It's through allowing yourself to fail, allowing things to be destroyed, that change is possible. But unfortunately, the crystallization, the rigidity of a personality, the character armoring in so many people is so severe that even when the destruction happens, it's not enough to change. Many people go to therapy for years and years, not actually healing, not actually recognizing what is required to heal. Why? Because we're still in a materialistic mindset. We're not spiritual. We're not hip on the knowledge, which is the knowledge of destruction. The destruction is required. And these people are still thinking about reward and punishment. They're still in the reptile, snake consciousness, which means they're still trying to maximize pleasure and minimize pain. And because they recognize the facade that gives them all the rewards, all the social, like the benefits, like the reputation, the friends, the parties, the gifts, the attention, because of the programming, the facade, the mimicking, the fakeness, the character armoring that rewards them, they maintain it. They do not allow the armoring to crumble because their value system is corrupt, because their attachment system has been hijacked, because even this is connected to their programming that they've gone under as a child, in which they've been rewarded so nicely, so plentifully for their facade, and they've been punished so severely should they break out of this fear of punishment, this shame. Then when you are punished, this guilt complex, this low self-esteem, this is deep inside the person's body. So this is the karma. This is what we're talking about. How does a person change? They need to desire change. They need to desire the pleasure of pain. Let me repeat this. They need to desire the pleasure of pain, the creation behind destruction. If you cannot recognize this, then you cannot break free from karma. Karma is about unawareness, not understanding, not knowing what you are doing and what the consequences of that will be. People who engage in a facade, who are emotionally unavailable, who are fake, who are manipulative, who are people-pleasing, who are lying, who are avoiding, who are ghosting, people who take breaks from social media because of their anxiety, because they cannot take the pressure of hiding behind the mask. These people are stuck in their karma because they do not understand the reward of destruction, the reward of death, the life behind death. They have not understood this. So they spend so much time trying to come up with better strategies. How do I manipulate this person to get what I want? How do I reconstruct my words so I can get more likes in my videos? How can I use more buzzwords, more manipulation strategies to get more views and follows in my postings? This is all that they're thinking about in their predatorial way of being, in which they have allowed their primitive nature to be in control of their actions, which is fine. But they have not understood that it's through allowing yourself to individuate, divide yourself, separate yourself from the need to please, that creation can truly take place. Because in this dependency to the external, always trying to mimic, always trying to strategize, how do I get this person to like me so they don't leave me? This is slave consciousness. This is the devil operating behind the scene. Devil worship. And if you look around, that's what most people are doing. They're worshipping the devil. Evil is in charge of people's bodies. And the more you recognize this, the more you can recognize the evil inside of you. Your capacity for evil. How you sell out to avoid confrontation, to avoid conflict, to avoid the projections that could be cast upon you in your prosecution complex, which is a complex of your ancestors. Do you feel the guilt and shame when you allowed yourself to be a projection in the other person's mind which is less than beneficial? When you allowed yourself to let go of controlling what the other person is going to project about you? Do you feel the guilt and shame behind that? Behind letting go. Letting go of trying to control the other person. Do you feel the devil inside your body, the evil possession, the demonic driving force behind the faulty wiring of your nervous system, which is a character armoring that is rigid, narcissistic, adversarial, snake-like, reptile, predatorial, as it's trying over and over again in a repetition compulsion to control the perception of the other party so they give you a beneficial outcome. Do you see the evil operating here? Can you sense it? Can you taste it? Can you feel it? Because if you can't, then you are lying to yourself. You are operating in illusion, in denial of yourself and your own true nature. Human nature that has been hijacked, taken over by reptile forces long ago, which have created a reptile brain inside the body, a survival pattern, a defense mechanism that always, in snake consciousness, tries to control other people to get you beneficial outcomes. What facade am I going to play now? What emotions am I going to hide? What words do I use? How do I look? How do I appear? Mimic, facade, more and more. Just dance in the shadows. So I do not have to deal with the pain of abandonment. A child, a baby, still attached to its mother's tits, suckling, because it's never left. It's never grown up. It's still infantile. It's an infantile defense. It's a child that plays facade. It's a child that manipulates. It's a child that lies. So when you see this in people, the evil behind them, behind that evil, it's a small, frightened little boy, a frightened little girl, just trying to survive. And it's learned that to survive, I have to manipulate. I have to deceive. I have to suppress my true self. And that is karma. Denial of the true self. Nothing more, nothing less. Suppression of the divine. Because the divine, there's no karma for the divine. There's simply, I do this and I get that result. I experiment. I play. Like in a sandbox. Like a child in a sandbox. I try this, I try that. But when we're talking about karma, we're talking about a survival pattern. We're talking about a defense mechanism. We're talking about something that is not in favor of the soul. It is actually acting against it. But it's so subtle, so illusory, in a fog of uncertainty, that people are unaware of what they're doing or why they're doing this, as they are destroying countless relationships, self-sabotaging the connection that they could have, as the other party is neither willing to cooperate nor to see their side. So they team up with people who are incompatible, always in situations that are out of alignment. The career, the job, the person you're dealing with. Always with something or somebody or in some place where you shouldn't be. A place that is not you. Where you have to be not you in order to be there. That is karma. And anybody that tells me this ridiculous definition of it's neutral, it's just action of consequence. When it's neutral, it's meaningless. If anything and everything is karma, even the healthy actions, then there's no point in talking about this. We're talking about negative karma. Karma that you don't want. Karma that is keeping you trapped. Karma that is working against you. So it is simply how your ancestors have survived. And of course, this is deeply embedded into your body. You are born with this. Make no mistake, the trauma of your childhood isn't the only problem here. It goes deeper. So you have to go deeper if you want to get rid of it. You have to go into the body. Because knowing all of this is very useful. But if you want to get rid of it, you must understand, you must feel it. Feel the devil. Because the devil is shame. The devil is the control system. Control system works like prison guards inside your body, that's prison mechanisms that say, oh, you are trying to be honest here? You're trying to be yourself, but that never worked. They're going to misunderstand. They're going to misinterpret. They're not going to like it if you say it the way that you want to. That's how the devil operates. And the devil is inside your body. So you need to feel this defense, this wall, this character armoring. And then there are certain steps, certain behaviors that you need to execute to get it out. If you're interested in that, I recommend that you learn about somatic experiencing, somatic embodiment. And if you want to check out more, you can message me or can check out my services down below. I do somatic embodiment and de-armoring therapy. I'm a specialist on this area. So if you're interested to remove the armoring from your body, you can book a session with me and we can go through the family trauma together. And if you're interested in an astrology reading, to diagnose what kind of ancestral baggage you carry, what kind of problems are you dealing with, what kind of blockages do you have in your career and relationships, and how to overcome them, you can book a personal reading with me. So, yeah. How to tackle karma? Follow your spark. Yes. But when you follow your spark, the prison system, like this guilt or shame, is trying to fight back. Like some people can literally do feel anxious or just like suffocate or confused or shut down because there's so much baggage that they carry. But if you've eliminated a significant amount of karma, then this doesn't feel so heavy anymore, and it's much easier to follow the spark. So people that follow their spark, which means they are themselves, they have already done a lot of work. So of course it goes hand in hand. What are your views about tropical and sidereal? I do not use sidereal. Vedic, of course, has a completely valid system because it uses the lunar mentions, uses certain interpretations that are all accurate. I have not found any problems, anything wrong with that system. Problem is, if it says when I'm a sun in Gemini, when I'm a sun in Cancer in the tropical, they can't both be true. One can be true, but both at the same time can only be true if you're using a different way to interpret it. So I've made a video about this subject before. You can check out my video, Tropical versus Sidereal. In this you can learn about my opinion. That being said, this is my video on karma. If you like this video and would like to see more videos like this in the future, please leave a like and subscribe. If you're interested in my services, check my description down below. You can message me at any given time. Thanks so much for watching and see you in the next video.